Bati-Bati Book Club.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, those who lie betwixt. Welcome to another episode of Bati-Bati Book Club. I am your host, the Jumpin' Jack Evans of Gaslighting Women, Squill, joined by my co-host Walk. How you doing, man?
Or maybe not, brother. Who knows? Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
I am alive.
That's good.
You, as I understand it, have come back from the dead.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, my cough still sounds like crap. Mm. But aside from that, we're doing great.
Aside from the death, it's
Aside from all
it's a
that
great
death.
time.
Yeah. All right.
So I just
Where
want
we?
a little
Ooh,
housekeeping. Very pleased with the reception of the first episode, so thank y'all who listened to that.
yeah.
I'm glad you liked hearing about Sakuraba and our various tangents. But yeah, thank you very much. Hopefully, this format will continue to produce some good stuff for you all.
Yeah, and if we do this long enough, maybe people outside of the sphere of Twitter and YouTube will watch it. That's high hopes.
Give me money.
Give me money, please. This
It's
man has a Kofi. I have nothing.
well,
Please.
slowly, it's trickle down economics. Okay, they
Oh,
give
thank
me
God we're
$5.
Breakonomicing our way up here.
Yeah. They give me $5, and then I give you knowledge, which is really invaluable.
I'm gonna whoop your ass.
You
Man,
can try, man.
this is gonna be episode 2 brackets final.
Yes, yes. It will devolve into an actual street fight.
Hell yeah. Speaking of street fights, who are we watching today?
We are watching One Black Terry. So to give a little background, because more obscure, much more obscure than Kazushi Sakuraba, especially because Lucha, as I find it, is a lot more niche than Puro these days. Black Terry is about 70 years old. I'm going to look up his actual age right here.
It's something ridiculous like that.
71.
Ooh,
Um, so yes,
still
thank you, Mr.
wrestling.
Terry, for still being alive and wrestling well? Question mark.
We'll get to that.
Um, but he is 71. He's been wrestling in Mexico forever. And as I understand it, he was a pretty normal mid-carder in CMLL for most of his career.
Mhm.
He went around a bunch of different promotions. In CMLL, he still works there regularly. He's known as Guerrero Maya or Maya Warrior. And then sometime in the mid 2010s, something snapped and he became a disgusting deathmatch wrestler.
And this
Um,
appeals to me.
and this appeals to you. Before we get into any individual matches, just viewing Black Terry as a wrestler, what were your initial impressions of just him and his aura?
Okay, so are you talking about like before I watched any of his matches?
No,
Oh, we're
no,
just
no.
talking about him as a person.
Just him as
Um,
a person, his presence,
oh
what
God,
you think about him beyond the actual matches.
he's like uncle. He's the most uncle wrestler I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I am. He's still kind of a mystery to me. I feel like as much as I got a lot of like knowledge around him, it
Mm-hmm.
feels like I don't know much about him. If that makes
Yeah.
any sense, he's still kind of a mystery to me. He's a uncle who fights often,
Yes. All the time.
all the
Often
time.
in Mad Max style junkyards.
Which brings us to our first match. Black Terry versus Mr. Condor.
So full disclosure, I know nothing about Mr. Condor. As with a lot of people, um his his cage match profile is pretty much a dead end.
Okay,
The only rating of him on cage match uh
I'm sure this will be
that
very helpful.
the only rating, and it sums him up pretty well. It says After a couple beers and after the YouTube binge starts getting into deep lucha cuts, here's a name I like to click on. Mr. Condor is an old nasty bastard. He looks like the woodshop teacher that makes the dudes on the football team take home ec instead. He looks like the grandpa that lives on the other side of the country because your grandma divorced him 50 years ago. But every time you see him, you learn more about the nature of the trauma your dad unwittingly has passed on to you. He
I think we
wrestles like it too.
I think we found the premier Mr. Condor expert. I literally could not describe him any better.
So thank you to Beer Cat from Cage Match for that sort of poetry.
Hell yeah,
But
Beer Cat.
he's very much down to clown with the shenanigans of Black Terry. They're the same
Yes.
guy.
I literally got confused like more than once who was who during the match.
Hmm.
Uh I guess we should talk about before we get into the match itself,
The setting,
the atmosphere. Yes. Um Mad Max, if you've seen
yeah.
it,
Hmm.
I know you've seen it, but audience, Fury Road especially, I think
Hmm.
that's the closest analog.
Yeah.
Uh it's orange. It's full
Hmm.
of, I believe, a constructions company worth of people that just got off their shift and they've
And
called
this is in a
in
literal junkyard.
literal
Like I'm
junkyard.
not joking. It is a junkyard, and there is a wrestling ring, and there is arguably wrestling.
Technically, we'll talk about that.
I will say this is
Um,
also by the promotion Zona 23, which is a grand purveyor of disgusting death matches.
good for them,
It's
honestly.
like CZW in
I hope they have a
uh,
Zandig equivalent.
because I like the idea that like CZW has it takes place in like a a like
A Warriors-esque.
well it will take place in just like some like random uh like hall of like a hotel or something like
Yeah,
that, right?
for sure.
But this is an actual junkyard.
I don't know where you find this in the world. It looks like a Street Fighter arena. It looks like a Mad Max zone. Um,
The wide shots of the surrounding neighborhood is like beautiful in like a weird
that's
like
true.
dystopian way.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's a
It,
weird environment.
it's like in a weird way it's Mad Max, but it's also like Blade Runner as fuck.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Just
Um,
the all the it just reminds me of when in Blade Runner 2049 when Ryan Gosling goes to the scrapyard.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And there's a bunch of children there working in sweatshops.
Yes.
Except here it's old men stabbing
And
each other with bottles.
one goth girl. You'll
Yes, at
find her
one
if you
point
watch the match.
there is a reasonably attractive young woman who looks insanely out of place because
Everybody
it's
else is
all
old, like Mexican dudes.
yeah, it's like middle-aged. It's
Occasional
Tio.
families.
This is the Tio corner. This is for drunk uncles to like yell at people.
Yes. I guess we should talk about the uncles in question and the match they're having.
Yes.
Um, I will mention off the bat, insane chair shot. The chairs are
Yeah.
weird
Oh,
in this
there's also
match.
there's no beginning to the match.
Yes, there's a theme for 3 out of the 4 matches that we watched that,
Con
they all have a, if anybody's seen it, Eddie Kingston versus Chris Hero, IWA
Mhm.
Mid-South, where Eddie Kingston jumps Chris Hero immediately and there's no entrances for either man.
Mhm.
Uh, that happens, like, more often than not in, the Black Terry matches, and it just starts off with the drunk the bar fight energy.
Yeah. They barely get into the ring at all.
Yeah. It's only, like, at the second half of the match, I believe.
Mhm. And this whole match is only about 10 minutes.
Yes, it's very short.
And what's really interesting to me about it is we'll see an improvement on this formula later on in our watch session.
Sure.
The punches, the strikes are great, But the
I should
framing of
restart.
them is a little too cooperative. You were talking about
Yes.
how they were dragging each other around.
Yes.
The strikes themselves look awesome.
No, they
Uh,
look
Bla-
great.
Black Terry in particular has he clearly has done some boxing because
Mhm.
he'll throw these combos that look really good, but it's
Mhm.
just how they get from spot to spot that looks a little bad.
It looks bad. The way that it often is, like, done is that Black Terry or, Mr. Condor, like, grab the back of their heads and just slowly waddle over to another part of the area, and then hit
Mhm,
each other a little bit, uh, pick up something, hit him, do a chop punch battle,
mhm.
or they will activate note number 10, noting Corona bar fight bottle match.
Yeah, was it Corona or Modelo? Maybe Modelo's in a later match.
I
I think both
it's
are involved.
both, honestly. Uh, Both men grab bottles around the arena and they smash them, and then they start stabbing each other with them.
Well, you forget first is that first Condor does it first, where he smashes a beer bottle against the turnbuckle,
Yes,
and
sorry.
then he cuts Terry on the forehead, so he gets going.
Mhm.
Um, and then later on, Condor does it again, but also Terry does this, and they have like a Clint Eastwood esque standoff.
They do.
Uh, yeah.
With bottle standoff. Oh god. Yeah. Uh, if you're gonna that's, like, the most notable part about this match for me, is
Mm,
that spot with the bottles.
mhm.
Spots, I should say.
Yeah.
Another thing that is notable, object-based
The keyboard.
keyboard, yes, I said gaming keyboard Lamau. Uh,
Yeah. A guy
it
just hands it to them.
yeah, literally, that's also a thing that happens a lot in this match where just stuff appears in the arena. It kinda becomes a fans bring weapons match, but, like,
More of like,
unofficially.
well, like the junkyard just sort of draws in pain.
Yes, or that. I think the setting helps a lot with this match.
Hmm. Yeah, because on its own, this match would just be like I would watch it because it's not high art. It doesn't overstay its welcome at only 10 minutes. And the individual action itself is cool, but there
Mhm.
is just a lot of like old guys breathing hard. But
Yes.
the pure cinematicness of where they are makes it like impossible to look away from.
This is a match I would add to a playlist for sick days where I
Mhm,
want like a bunch of matches to watch in a row, but I don't really want to be thinking. I
mhm,
just throw that bitch on and I watch two old men slap each other around.
mhm.
Yeah. Next
You
up,
have a really interesting way of doing,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
self-care.
I It's nice. It heals my soul, and that's all that matters.
You're talking about you never finished your thought in the chairs earlier.
Yeah, the chairs are weird. Uh, if okay, so do,
Non-foldable chairs.
yes, do you know those chairs that you have in like elementary school where they're like all one round plastic like boomerang shape, but they have
Yeah.
like the metal rods? Yes, but make it like cushioned around.
Yeah.
That's what these are, and they hit each other with them, and it looks like it would still hurt, but it almost looks like it doesn't do any damage.
Well,
So
the
they'll
the
do like
chair leg the chair leg cuts Terry's arm at one point.
it does?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I
Yeah,
probably would have written that down if I noticed that.
he puts up his arm to, like, block it, and the chair leg itself, cuts it, and
Oh,
so
that's
Lord
basic as
knows what
fuck.
sort of, like, tetanus he got.
Hell yeah. That's cool as hell. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know why, but I wrote down how does this happen? I guess that's
Sort of
just kind of an
existential.
encapsulation of the match. Uh, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this man? Oh, insane glass pane spot.
Yes.
The magical glass pane that appears in the ring.
Like I said, I fully buy in. If this was, like, in AEW, I'd be like, "Oh, are these weapons coming from?" However, this is a death arena in which
Mhm.
weapons just manifest
Fair enough.
themselves so that carnage can continue.
Fair enough. I support that line of thinking.
Well, also, a fan literally gave them a keyboard earlier, so it's assumed that people are just grabbing like disgusting objects from the junkyard, to hand to them so they can kill people.
Yeah, it's a fans bring weapons match at a certain point. I think that's the best way to like wrap your head
Except like
around
the
it.
junkyard dog that is the mayor of the town
Yeah, it's Tomohiro Ishii but
brings.
Mexican. It's a stone pit bull. He's a
No, no,
bottle
no,
stone
actual dog,
reinforcement.
actual dog.
Oh, sorry. It
Yes,
could
an
it could
act.
just be a dog.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
an actual
Tomohiro Ishii
dog
could just be a dog. I don't know.
who
Have you
owns
seen
the
how he spells?
junkyard. He brings them. He fetches them
I hear you.
the weapons.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Then they
Um,
go into the ring, and it's not as good,
no, it's not. Uh, the glass pane spot happens eventually.
which is awesome.
And then, weird note about Black Terry. He's a technico, I think is the term. I am not a
He's a
lucha head.
Technico of face.
Okay, that's a face, what that means.
Yes.
He does technical stuff is what I meant.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
he occasionally does submission work. Like,
yeah.
at the ending where is it a pinning combination that ends this match?
It's a double pin, so they count it as a no contest.
Really? That's how this ends.
Yeah, it's really
Oh,
confusing.
yeah. I have it written here, odd finish. I didn't know
Mm,
what it meant by odd finish
yeah,
because I don't remember, but sure, why not?
but up until then, there's a really weird knee bar sequence.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
Although there is a great thing. This is where it sort of brings me back for a second. Is when they're doing the classic, like like Flair when he's got a guy in a figure four,
Mhm.
and like they're falling backwards, and like they start counting the pins because their shoulders down. Except it's on fucking broken glass,
Yes.
and so the guys are pulling their backs back to alleviate the pain of the leg, and just
Yep.
crushing themselves with broken glass, and
Yep.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's sick as hell. Uh, I think that's all I have for this match, honestly.
And it
The
was at this
cool
point.
glass spot.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just said there's a cool glass spot. There's the glass
Hmm.
bottles all around the ring. I don't. This match is fun.
Hmm.
But it's not high art. I would never rank this as like a top 100 match.
Hmm.
But yeah.
The this is where I had to introduce to you that like lucha and screwy finishes go together like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Like they love that shit.
They
Like
do.
they almost never have clean finishes unless it's like a really big event.
Speaking of yes,
Like
yes.
or not clean like definitive finishes.
Yeah. It yeah. We'll find that out in our next match, I
In
suppose
which
if
we
you'd like
have
to.
Black Terry versus Wotan. I believe it's how you pronounce his name. Apologies to Mr. Wotan. If that's not how you pronounce his name, please don't hurt me.
It could be wonton, but I don't think that's right.
No, I don't think so either.
What do you have any notes about Wotan before we get into the match?
Wotan himself, he is another lucha trash wrestler.
Cool.
Um,
Hell
that's
yeah.
just about all he is. That you
Really? There's no cage
everything.
match stuff?
No, no, he's on there. It's just that he's a trash wrestler. That's what he does.
Okay.
He's a
Well,
good boy. He
good for
does it.
him.
He does his job very well. Um, he's
He
sort
has
of he's one stage up from Black Terry in terms of prominence now, at
yeah.
least, because he's been doing some bigger indies, which is weird because Black Terry will do literally like the most like bombed out
Yeah.
Warzone looking indie, but then he'll show up on CMLL versus
It's really
Wotan.
funny.
Wotan is mostly in like mid-sized Mexican indies.
Okay. Well, good for him. Good for Wotan. He has a
Yeah,
crazy look.
yeah, he looks awesome.
He has this like mohawk Spider-Man mask. I with like the crazy pants. It's awesome.
Hmm.
He looks sweet. He has like black and red.
The theme for this episode is Mad Max.
Honestly, yes. Yeah. Let's see here. They don't but in this match, Black Terry is jumping Wotan.
Mm-hmm. And what's great is even though throughout all of these, um, Black Terry is a bastard,
He's just a little
and I
shit.
mean I mean him in such a loving way, but he is an absolute bastard. But people just chant for him,
Mhm.
um, and so throughout this they're going Terry, Terry, Terry.
He does heel shit in the Stone Cold Steve Austin way, it seems.
Yeah, where I was talking about how Stone Cold was so people loved him so much he got over just straight up cheating as a face move. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, um, and this is just an old man lucha brawl.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, it is, but with Wotan being a much more spry guy.
Mhm. Despite
Yeah.
also being over 40.
Really? I didn't even
Yeah.
notice. Good for
He's
him.
40 he's 46. He's
Damn,
46.
damn, good for him. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
There's no cooperation in this match, though. We do not
Oh,
have the same issue as the above match.
yeah, I saw this as, like, a much more of an improvement on the previous one.
Mhm.
I will also note this happens in the, Chilanga Mask promotion, so shout out to them. And
Thing
the once again, this takes place in an actual dirt pit.
Yes. Have you ever been to, like, a zoo where they have, like, those events where it's just like, "Come see the birds," and they'll have, like, a zookeeper that holds out, like, a bird
But
in
in
their
this
arm
case,
and shit?
the referee is the zookeeper.
I listen, I this hey, this, like okay. It is it's almost like a miniature, like, bullfighting arena. I don't know how
Yeah.
to describe it.
Well, there's, like,
It's like a
some
lo
cheap metal roofing over
yeah.
a dirt pit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's an interesting locale once again.
And
All
I
of these
also
are
love,
interesting locales, by the way.
this one and the one before it. There's a note throughout is that there's no barrier between the fans, and the action. So
Mhm.
people are, like, scattering as they roll to and fro to
Yes.
just try to get out of the way.
Yep. Yep. It happens a lot. There is a small child that gets almost ran over during this match. If you remember him.
Mhm, I do.
Okay. Um, let's
But
see
you're talking
here.
about it's not cooperative. The strikes are awesome.
They are
Um,
sweet. It
there
almost
are some there are also some chair shots.
yes, there are. Uh, I had noted throw in the chairs, and then you had made the comment, "Thank God he blocked that." For
Yeah.
how intense these chair shots get. They are almost at the level of Briscoe brother tier.
Mhm. And thank God, yes, he does start blocking them. But it's just really fun
Apparently.
because it's like a later Suzuki match, just more violent. The
Mhm,
idea is he has a younger, more athletic opponent, and so he punches them a bunch and then sort of throws them around the arena, and then they'll hit him with something that doesn't require him to take that big of a bump.
mhm.
But it looks great because, like, he'll unleash like a boxing combo
Yes,
onto Wotan, and then Wotan will fire back with like a drop kick or something more athletic looking,
for
and
sure.
it's great.
There is an insane missile drop kick that he hits Black Terry with in the corner.
Oh
It
yeah, it
is
just looks like
it
it
is
should
shit
just make him
levels of
explode.
just trying to kill him. Uh,
Hmm.
Another note on Terry, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier. He looks like Mr. House.
He
He looks
does
like a
kind of look like Mr. House. In the older matches, he has a lovely mustache.
yes, he looks like Mr. Slaughterhouse, if you could get an image in your head.
Hmm.
Um, yes, I
Yo,
had noted the technical side of his striking. I called him Muay Thai head Black Terry.
yeah, he does a bunch of clinch work where he'll do a double collar tie and then break their posture, and then
Mhm.
switch and like if you understand the concept of framing and
Not really.
striking of just creating angles
Oh, yeah, okay.
for
Yeah.
striking where he'll like keep one hand on the head and push it down, the other on the shoulder to throw like a clinch knee. He does clearly this guy has done some actual sort of martial arts
Mhm.
boxing somewhere in there because
For sure.
there's some method to his madness and that
Yes.
makes it better.
Yes. Uh, he is very good at his striking game. It never
Mhm.
looks fake. It looks great. Um, Also note, topes,
Oh,
in
yeah,
this match
boy.
are awesome. They are insane.
I would describe them as Darby Allin-esque.
They are Darby Allin-esque for I don't care if I die during doing this tope, and it's sick.
Absolutely.
It is awesome. He just obviously it's not Black Terry, it's Wotan. Well,
Yeah.
it is Lucha. It's some guys are immortal like that, and they just do topes at like 60.
Yeah.
Uh, but aside from the point, yeah, Wotan just does topes on Black Terry that just run him over. It's
Mhm.
insane, and
I
it's
I just
awesome.
I love that because we're talking about cooperativeness, right? And you
Mhm.
never want a match to look too cooperative. So
Yeah,
that's honestly normally my problem with topes.
most of us
Is
can
that
think of the yeah.
the guy is clearly there to catch them.
Mhm.
But when you're turning your body into a bullet, it looks perfect.
Just shooting straight at Black Terry.
Mhm,
Also note on the high flying that Wotan attempts, it gets shut down really hard by Terry at one point, where Wotan
mhm,
is like gonna do some sort of like rope crossbody, I'm sure, or something like that.
mm,
I'd never know because Black
mhm.
Terry grabs onto him and tears him to the ground as he headbutts the turn of the post or not post, like the ground straight up. It's insane.
Yeah, it's genuinely insane looking.
It's so fucked up. If you can find the match, watch it. I if you couldn't tell already, I'm more passionate about this match. Uh, this is an awesome match. The only thing that like is kind of docking it on anything is the weird ending.
Yeah.
If you
How
would
would
like
you
to
like
go
to
into that.
describe it?
Um,
They go to some rocks and the ref basically just calls it off because they're
yeah,
on they get counted out.
for sure.
Um which is strange just because of the fact that like so in there's clearly no countouts to my knowledge in our first match in
Mhm.
the junkyard dystopian
Hell's
death match. Um but I guess here there are countouts and it's just
Sure.
not a great because it's like this is listed as just a singles match even
Mhm.
though they use weapons. And maybe there's some like there's some specifics that I some nuances I just don't quite understand because
For
this
sure.
isn't my scene.
Mhm.
But the fact that in countouts, it was lost on me.
Yeah.
Considering the bottles and the chairs,
The match should have been thrown out immediately when Terry started doing, like, bar house brawling before, like, the entrances were done.
but yes, it literally ends. It looks disgusting. There's some MMA ground and pound, where they're
It's
just rolling over rocks and dirt.
it's so fucked up. It looks like, a fight straight out of a playground.
If this was a
It's
proper
terrible.
finish, this would be like a top 100 match, like you're talking about.
For
Like if
sure.
there was some big spot on the outside, that led to a finish, that would be it.
That'd be sick. But no.
No, it's just count out, and I love how genuinely terrified the crowd looks of these
Oh my
guys
god,
as they
it was
roll over to
so
the rocks.
uncomfortable. It just got to the point where it was just an actual fight.
Well,
It
that's what I
was
love about
so
it. With how bloodthirsty these crowds are, um, it's genuinely impressive to make them uncomfortable. Because at
Mhm.
first they're like, Terry, Terry, and then he gets so sadistic, they start going, Wotan, Wotan,
Out of
because
pity,
yeah, out of pity.
just,
And then they just stop cheering, in general once it gets really gross.
mhm, yeah, very good match.
Mhm, bordering on great.
very bordering on great.
If they had a proper finish, which is a lot of lucha like throwaway weekly TV kind of matches
Which is weird that they're having weekly throwaway matches in
that
this
are good.
weird. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
Darby does that.
Sure. Yeah.
He's gonna die at like 35.
You say that. I think that he's gonna have Spike Dudley's disease, where he's kind of
An
immortal.
ability to die, like
Inability to
despite his
die,
best
yes.
efforts.
Yes.
Yeah, he's 31. He's got 4 years.
It's I'm telling you, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be Spike Dudley. Spike Dudley's in like his 40s or something. 40s or 50s.
It's like one of those gorillas that just doesn't realize they're dead yet because they don't have like the brain power or whatever. He doesn't even.
Sure.
He's
I
put
felt
himself
like one of those
away.
gorillas during our third match.
Yes. So we are going
Uh,
against Ultimo Guerrero in the Lucha Mutante.
Mutante.
I bet you can't. I bet you can't figure out what that clever
Is it
name means in
mutant?
you wouldn't believe it, but yeah,
Oh,
it is
fuck.
mutant. S-
Not for real?
So so it is literally Lucha Mutants is the
Hell
promotion,
yeah, that's so
which is
fucking sick. I'm
which
gonna
is an
make that
accurate.
my Saturday morning cartoon show.
It's like it's like my sequel to Street Sharks.
Hell yeah.
Um, but it is Black Terry would be accurately described as a Lucha Mutant, so I'm here for it.
He is a mutant. He is too weird to live, but too I
Strange
forget.
to die.
Thank you. Yeah, but this match is a stinker. Actually, hang on. Before we get into this match, I have to note the ref for the past two matches.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to
He
that guy.
shout out to him. He has an awesome look where he has a bow tie and he's got the crazy glasses.
And he's
That's all
got
I have.
gloves to count the pinfall when he's on
Yeah.
broken glass.
Yes, it's awesome.
But not just like gloves that are like, surgical gloves. I'm talking like chainmail gloves.
It's it's really funny. But what isn't
Yeah.
funny about it is this fucking match, brother.
Well, see, I
This
agree
is a
with you on
stinky
the first half of this. However, I think the finishing stretch is fucking awesome.
and I just couldn't give a shit enough to I could not weed through this to the second half. You can note I have 11 notes as opposed to the last match's 19.
Hmm.
Which sounds like it's not a big difference, but oh lord, I have nothing on this match. Uh,
What was your first thought?
Weirdo submission.
Yeah, so a
Lucha
lot of this,
grappling
yeah,
is lost on me, but it's very how to say it's very visual as opposed to like
very
most
showy.
showy. Showy is a good word for it. Uh like for example on like if I was watching a UWF match, some of the grappling would get lost on me. But when I'm
Hmm.
watching this match, it makes the submission game very obvious.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very readable, is
Yeah,
what I
it's
should
very
say.
readable and it's kind of insane, in
Some
like a
weird
very
shit.
silly way. Ultimo Guerrero himself is, of course, a legend. He's active in CMLL. Real fun old man wrestler in general.
Made the dick kick of face move. We all, yeah, yep.
Yeah, yeah. When he fought Roosh, because they're
Hmm.
just tired of Roosh, which is a
Imagine
great
being such
thing.
a
As a side
dickhead.
note, in his match versus Bandito, um, that I covered in that primer, they
Hmm.
refuse the DQ Roosh just because they don't want him to be allowed to retain the title via DQ because they're just fed up with
That's
having him as the
so
company's
awesome.
champ.
I love
Yeah,
that. That's so
yeah,
cool.
that's such a fun like sort of gimmick. But yes, Ultimo Guerrero is well beloved. And these guys do mostly what's a straight grappling match.
Oh Lord. It's it's the part of Black Terry that is least interesting to me,
Hmm.
stretched out to a whole match, and I
Of
just
old men shooting double legs over again, over and over again.
over and over again. And it is honestly very slow. Not Not good is my review.
What's your
My
next thought?
my next thought is Wrestling Empire ass fit on Black Terry.
Yes.
He
Yes,
looks re
Black Terry has like a tank top, but like it goes
he
all the way down to like his belly button.
golly, bro. He looks like a smacked ass. He is the smacked ass of the night.
He's always wearing like black and yellow as well, adding him to the the brotherhood of violent black and yellow wrestlers.
Mhm. My boy Kawada, my boy Kingston. A lot of
Mhm.
K's.
And then
But
Black
the
Terry,
kid Terry obviously starts with a
but
K.
not 3 Ks because that would be a problem.
Ah, Squill. We're on our second episode, dude. Anyways, third, lucha grappling is funny. We already talked about that. Weird ass cross submission.
Yes, a lot of submissions are how you say creative.
Sure,
Black Terry has a love. We'll see this later on. He loves anything where he gets to like drive knees into people.
he loves his
Um,
knees.
which
We
I
haven't
actually think
talked
looks
about
awesome.
we haven't talked about his use of the Chris Jericho Codebreaker,
Codebreaker. He uses a codebreaker and then also a long blower. He'll alternate them.
also known as a
Which is
backstabber.
yeah. I think lung blower is more fun,
I do
but
like it better.
Black's backstabber is more descriptive.
It helps.
But yeah, he just loves shoving his knees into people's like soft organs,
Mhm,
which really adds to the idea to me of the psychology of Black Terry in my
mhm,
head, which is that like if I am forced to do normal wrestling stuff, I will do the most fucked up normal wrestling move I can think of. Like
yeah.
it's not enough for me just to suplex you. I will do a a move where I drive my knees into the back of your like your organs.
I will make this shit hurt no matter what.
Mhm.
Next he oh, this is something that was fun about the submission in this match. Black
Mhm.
Terry trying to tear his arm up.
Yeah.
Uh, there's like this moment where Black Terry like wrenches up his arm and then just
Mhm.
rips it down as fast as humanly possible. It felt like I felt it. I was just like, ah, oh no, Ultimate
There's
Guerrero is not going to use his arm.
even if this isn't the best display of his talents, there's a meanness to Black Terry
Always,
that's just amazing.
he is a mean old man.
I kind of felt about this match, and it's not really either the man's fault. I think it's just a style they shouldn't be doing because they're
Hmm.
both kind of brawlers.
Yeah,
Um, but it reminds me of like how Nick Cage was in a lot of bad movies, but he gave his all and he was great in those bad movies.
of course.
That's kind of how I see this in Black Terry. This isn't what he should be doing, but he has so much fun within this match.
I just it's I get it. It's an actor I like seeing doing a fun match, but like or not a fun match. Maybe he's having fun. I hope he's having fun with
He
Ultimate
looks like he's
Guerrero.
having fun when he's
If
ripping
he's
the
having
arm around.
if he's having fun, more power to him. But like this is a plus 10 match of the night. I am just there's a I have fun perched up fella. I think Ultimo Guerrero just sits on the top rope and I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, they do go to the top rope, which was concerning to me.
Mhm.
Just given the age of both of these two men.
Yeah, well, eventually we get there.
And there is a
Uh
fun series of counters around that.
yes. Uh but we'll get to the top rope finish. Mild spoiler.
Hmm.
Uh,
And
but
I
next
I
up,
do enjoy the finish.
the finish is good. But that ending does not fix the rest of that match, brother. Next up, I have friendly ass lariat.
Yeah,
This-
there for all the meanness, there's some weak lariats.
It is the most eh thing I've ever seen. It's cooperative.
And this
Uh,
is I've said this elsewhere publicly, I think. I trained for like 6 months in pro wrestling
mhm.
myself, and I've been told with the lariat is that if they don't want to go down, make them go down. And I
And
find it strange that with the level of liberties Black Terry's willing to take, he won't just hit a guy real hard with the lariat.
no, for sure. Like, even mild-mannered Stan Hansen outside of
Hmm.
the ring, uh, will just shoot lariat people. It's not like
Okay, you say that, but he did take the AWA title and run it over with his car.
he is he is mild-mannered Stan
Mannered.
Hansen, quote unquote.
You have a really interesting. We've learned about your what you do for self care, and now what you think mild mannered is.
Listen, he's a nice guy outside of that one time, and yeah, I swear.
He also took people's eyes out.
Hey, that's just a business.
Hmm.
Are we gonna blame Rey Mysterio for murdering that man?
Nah,
Exactly. Exactly. We still love Ray
it's
Ray.
whoever tightened the ropes.
No, for sure. That man just wanted to see him dead, brother. Anyhow, um, next up I have
Is that
I
just all
couldn't
the grappling?
I maybe
There's a
base Ash
surfboard.
Codebreaker.
Yeah,
The surfboard is badass. I love the
yeah.
surfboard.
His
Um,
code breaker is genuinely good, by the way.
his Codebreaker is fucking awesome, dude. Like
Yeah,
that's always a highlight. I love the Codebreaker. It's so cool.
he does it better than Jericho.
That's not a high bar, honestly. That's which is fucking awesome, by the way. Hang on. Side note, more Chris Jericho slander.
Hmm.
Um, this 60, 70-year-old man can do a code breaker better than current Chris Jericho.
This is true.
Ridiculous. Get get out of the company. I am
I will add the caveat though that luchadors age. You know how like Superman came from a place with a red sun, and then
sure.
when he came here, the yellow sun like made him more powerful.
Hmm.
Something happens where they have become more powerful, these luchadors,
Yeah.
and so they just age differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, I don't know what's in the water in Mexico that makes them more powerful. Makes their skin concrete and their blood thick and strong. That makes them immortal. That's all I got to say about
Going to the
that.
finish then.
Solid stash again. Sure,
Mhm.
that's something I noted. Uh, we'll talk about the ending, which is based as hell.
It is
Where
quite good.
I forget who it is that gets up on the top rope and gets
Black
murdered
Terry.
promptly. Black Terry gets put up on the top rope, and Ultimo Guerrero is sick of his shit, and he does a super face buster
Yes, which looks
onto the
fucking
ground,
sick.
just kills Black Terry, and Ultimo Guerrero scurries on his old ass over and covers him. 1, 2, 3. He's out of here.
If you could cut like 5 minutes off this match, it'd be a near perfect TV match.
Yeah, it
Of
would be.
just like of have few cheeky submission holds, code breaker, death by face buster. That would be good.
No, yeah, that would be good. I agree. I agree.
So this is the one match you truly did not like.
Oh yeah, this one is a stinker. If you have a appreciation for lucha grappling, more power
But
to
done at a
you.
very
You'll
slow
love this
done
match.
at a very slow pace.
At a grandpa's pace, literally.
Mhm.
Uh, don't if you. I can't unrecommend this match more.
Mhm.
Might be one of the worst matches I've ever seen. Uh,
Now you're being mean to Mr. Terry.
I haven't
You
seen a lot of wrestling. I'll say it.
okay, but
I'm
you
not. I've
watched
mostly seen
the
good
Hook
wrestling.
Jericho. You watched the Hook Jericho Shibata triple threat.
Yeah, that shit was cheeks though. It was hella cheeks. That I have a massive issue with as well. I'll have you
Mhm.
know because that is shitty hardcore, and
Mhm.
I but it made up for it with Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black.
Where
That
he
match
just
is based.
destroyed his leg.
And Adam Copeland, I hope you a speedy recovery.
Mhm.
Um, any match with Slayer as an intro is gonna be good. I don't know what to say.
You want to take us
Um,
to our final match?
I would love to. Using my gringo Spanish, I will be doing Black Terry versus El Hijo del Diablo. Smiley face. Did I do
A
anything good
real
there?
a real subtle, another great subtle lucha name.
Man, I wonder what his name is.
Yeah, I don't know what couldn't possibly decipher that. This happens in the IWRG, or the International Wrestling Revolution Group, which is an
Hell
example
yeah.
of the more letters, sometimes less is more in
Mhm.
terms of naming your wrestling promotion.
Sometimes. Yeah. This is a stipulation match. Uh,
Hair versus hair,
I think they have a name for it.
2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
Apuestas.
Apuesta! Thank you. This is an Apuesta
C.
match. See! Um, this is a drunken uncle bar fight, and it's
Mhm.
awesome. Can we describe Elio del Diablo before we get too deep into this?
Yes, I just want to clarify for the listeners. I have what's called barbershop Spanish, which means my Spanish is solely limited to uh, listening to lucha commentators and ordering my haircuts. That's the kind of Spanish I
Hell
have.
yeah. I took 3 years of Spanish, and I don't remember a word.
Hmm.
Anyhow, uh, let's describe El Hijo del Diablo.
Hmm.
Mickey Rourke, feed him a lot, make
Yeah.
him older, and imagine an older looking Mickey Rourke for a moment.
Hmm.
Uh, fit him in a mariachi band outfit
It
without the
looks more like a vampire outfit,
he does
like
look
a
vampire-esque.
cheap Halloween vampire.
I agree with that. I agree with that adaptation. Um, yeah, he has a crazy look.
Hmm.
Um, they do the classic Black Terry start, where
Hmm.
they start brawling immediately.
Can we shout out the lady,
That
the
was my second
as we
note.
start? Okay, yes, we're in sync here.
Thrilled ass old lady. There is a lovely abuelita who is wearing pink, and you will hear her throughout the whole match yelling at the top of her lungs, Diablo, 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 Diablo.
Which is just amazing. She's
She is
like,
thrilled.
this environment. This one has another interesting aura, because as we didn't really touch on it, but with the Ultimo Guerrero match, it was a more conventional wrestling ring.
Mhm,
And this is technically some sort of sporting place,
mhm.
um, but it also feels kind of dystopian.
Yes. Um, it's an uncomfortable area, I would say. It kinda looks like if the Lucha Underground set was, like, abandoned, and
So,
then, like,
like,
somebody tried to, like,
have
more
you played
abandoned
Portal
than
2?
yes, I
So,
have.
like, Portal 2 version of Lucha Underground.
No, that's real, I like that description.
Okay, I looked it up. It's called the Arena Nakalpan, and
Sure.
it was a roller rink that they turned
Oh,
into.
that's he
They That's why it looks like that.
hell yeah, okay, I can see that.
So that's
Alright.
why it looks kind of fucked up, because it's a rundown roller rink
Oh, yeah.
that was turned into
Yep,
a wrestling ring.
yep, I see it. 100%.
Because there's a bunch of
100%.
weird barriers that remind me of like hockey or something,
Yeah,
and that explains it all.
yeah. Yep, makes sense. Um, next up we have Ring Post Love. I don't know what this is referring to.
Oh,
Ring
he
Post.
gets they beat the shit
They
out
hit
of
shit out of the ring posts.
well,
Yes.
they slam uh mostly Elio de Diablo gets the worst of it.
Mhm,
But he loves, much like a Brian Danielson smashing McGinnis into a ring post. He
mhm.
loves him some ring post.
Just knocked the shit out of that bastard. Just conk, 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 conk. And there's a solid exchange of forearms between these two gentlemen.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of more good striking here.
Mm,
Um and I don't know if we mention it's 2 out of 3 falls?
we did.
Okay, as a lot of matches in Mexico are.
Yeah, especially ones that are like apuestas and shit like that.
Mhm. And I will
Uh,
also note that they have seconds.
I
Um,
again, we are completely synced because I was gonna say masked dudes in the corner.
Black Terry's is El Pantera.
Okay.
And which is also the nickname of UFC fighter Yair Rodriguez. Um, and Arana de Plata Jr. is is the second of
Sure.
Diablo, which literally means sand of the beach.
Where else would you find it? I guess in the dust zone that is the first matches area.
Oh wait,
Anyhow.
no. Sorry,
Oh,
that's Playa. I'm dumb.
I
Plata
mean, it
means
made about as
silver.
much sense.
Silver
Oh,
sand.
that's badass,
But
actually.
also plata can also mean like dough cash in some extent. So I think
Money
he's like
sand.
yeah,
Or
money sand or like silver sand.
hell yeah.
I have no idea how I'm supposed to interpret that
My
because
man
it's
is
like
rolling in it.
several layers of slang in a language I'm not fluent in.
For sure. It's fine.
But yes,
We're not
yes,
here
they
for the
have
max
seconds,
dudes.
and they got like nice little towels that are like telling him off
They
like
do.
you can do it, buddy.
Yep, after every fall, there's a toweling moment. Speaking of which, the fall one is for Terry by
Yes, by
submission.
submission. And
Pretty cool stuff from Diablo.
you pointed out he has him in a knee bar, and you pointed
Yes.
out within the figure four, or sorry, not knee bar, a figure four lock,
Hmm.
and within the figure four that you create with your legs, which is such a nice little thing you noticed is that El Hijo de Diablo does like an S grip with his hands
Yep.
and slides it in between the figure four to try to alleviate pressure and
Hmm.
create space, and I adore that kind of like
Just shoved
little
his meaty palms in there just to try to get
yeah,
any
yeah,
room.
I love little details like that.
Yeah,
That's a lot
no,
of
that was
fun.
cool. That was very cool. Um, let's see what else we got. Top rope throw on the ground. It's
Yeah.
rare and it's cool as hell in this match.
Mhm.
Elaborate, please.
Top rope throw on the ground. Oh, it's just I mean, it's deeply fucked up. There are some bumps here that should not be taken. Basically, once the first fall ends, they enter the bomb fest portion.
Hmm.
So we have that from the top rope, and then some wood materializes.
Yes. Oh god, the wood. What a weird item that gets used brutally.
Yeah, it looks fucking horrible.
It just splinters and shatters all over these poor bastards.
And the blood has not been there, but this and subsequently is where the blood really gets going
For
from
sure.
Diablo, who's a great bleeder.
Yeah, but they need to get a couple chair shots in, don't you think?
Yes, they do. I think they do need some chair shots.
And those chairs are really weird. We
But
have
they look like they hurt like shit though.
they do. These look like they hurt. I would rather get hit by like a gimmicked steel chair or as gimmicky as you can get them. Uh
They're aluminum chairs.
sure.
Yeah.
Uh um but hang on, I'm trying to find where I was. The Corona chairs. They're
Yes.
plastic that
Corona branded chairs.
took my description of the cushioned ones, but uncushioned them, and they have the brand Corona right over the like the seat. I think are on both sides actually.
Yeah, which is so
Uh,
Mexican you can't make it up. That we
yeah,
have
and
like alcohol branded
yeah,
chairs in this lucha death match.
it's very sporty. It feels like
Hmm.
something I would see at a baseball game, and I guess now I'm seeing it at a uh roller rink from hell
Take me out to the ball game.
as he
Stab
slams
him with
his
the
top of the
broken
head.
glass.
Yeah. Crazy, crazy shots with this. I think they do kind of like a downwards like stabbing motion with the chair, not
Oh yeah,
like to the top of his head. It's
yeah.
awesome.
It looks so gross.
It's so
Uh,
fucked up.
whenever you think that like all the normal tools that like quote unquote like hardcore wrestlers have in their toolbox, if you
Mhm,
think they aren't being used creatively enough, go to Mexico.
straight up. Uh, just God. Just then the bleeding starts happening. El Hio is a
It's real
great
bad.
bleeder. Black
Yeah.
Cherry's a great bleeder. Just two bloody old men.
And
Uh,
so, are we about to the
oof.
second fall?
We're getting close, I believe.
Okay.
Let's see.
Because this is
Insane
when they go
headbutt.
back into the ring.
Yes. We
Yeah,
get some
okay.
insane headbutts.
Yes.
Uh, Note
Which once
for
again,
gut
I don't.
puncher.
Yes, so he goes back into the headbutt looks fucked up.
Mhm.
And in a weird way, it reminds me of Fujiwara because Fujiwara will do real cool boxing combos and then
Yes.
shoot headbutts that look disgusting.
Mhm.
And despite that, both of them have a lot of longevity despite doing the headbutts, which is just insane.
Either you wear black trunks or you're Mexican. You get
Mm,
immortality no matter what.
that's impressive.
Eh, I'm gonna wear black trunks. That's
Hmm.
all I'm gonna say.
And you're going to become immortal?
Yes.
Do you want to test that?
Not right now.
All right.
DQ fall for Terry.
Yeah, so it's always fun. It's obligatory in Iron Man match, right? But occasionally you'll also see it in 2 out of 3 falls, where the heel intentionally takes a DQ just so they can beat the living shit out of the
Oh,
babyface.
beat the shit out of El Hijo El
And
Hijo
I
del Diablo.
and I will point out that the Technico, the babyface, his name is the son of the devil.
Literally.
Yeah.
He is the good guy in this scenario.
Yeah, as opposed to the disgusting godless creature. Well, I guess because he's fighting the devil, Black Terry is a warrior of Christ.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
I the patron saint of Corona chair shots.
Mm-hmm.
Uh some cool Corona chair shots happen. The plywood comes out crazy style. Um
Yeah,
First
everything is
spot.
escalates. Everything that's been set up for the first 2 falls, like
It's
this is
paced
this whole second match, like second
so
match in the third
well.
fall.
It's
It really
paced
is.
so well. Like
It's a slow brawl of a burn, and then
mhm,
it becomes Joe Necro Butcher in the last fall.
literally, this is such a good match. And for what? Per spot, they just start hitting. I think I don't remember who has the purse, but one of them just starts smacking the other one with the purse. I think it's
Yes,
from the El Hio stand.
yeah, and then they fucking just quarterback that shit until like the 10th row, and it's assumably never seen
It's
again.
so sad. Uh,
I'd like to think they gave it back to her.
like one of the people in the stands were just like, "You're missing."
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
I believe in it.
after they're screaming like "Sangre, sangre," and then they're like, "Hey, here you go.
Yeah,
Here's your
I
back,
hope nothing fell
sangre."
out if you need help.
Yeah.
Uh, Great note about this match as well. This is proof that the first match didn't need as much cooperation as it needed because there's no
Hmm.
cooperation in this match.
Absolutely zero.
It starts getting good when I start almost exclusively counting, typing in all caps. I wrote
Yeah.
code breaker.
Yes.
It
Especially now we're in a more fast-paced environment. The code
literally,
breaker looks so good.
it's so sick. And then kick out.
Hmm.
It's not his
There's
fucking finisher, dude.
it's a real good like sort of Kurt Angle style one where you just
Hmm.
like kind of limply get the arm up.
Yeah. Cannonballs.
Yes, that looks good because Mr. Diablo um Mr. Diablo is a sort of a Bray Wyatt shaped man,
Hmm.
or a Kevin Steen shaped man,
He's
and
the
so
best.
him doing the cannonball looks sick.
It is awesome. It is so cool. Exhaust roll up, and
Hmm.
then Jeff Jarrett shows up.
Yes, yes, he does.
Uh, it is a spirit. This match suddenly turns into a spiritual successor to Jeff Jarrett versus Beetlejuice,
Yeah,
where I think it's El Hio. Who
Yeah.
gets the chair? The guitar. Excuse me.
Well, they give it the guy brings it in intending to give it to Terry,
Hmm.
but then Iho gets a hold of it
Yes, and then
and
you
flings it and hits the ref.
just smashes it into the ref, and then a nut hit happens from
Mm.
Black Terry, and you think, "Oh God, is the heel gonna win? Is Black Terry gonna win this one out?" And then and then Ohio just manages to beat him out a little bit, and then he grabs onto him, and then, holy shit, a jumping tombstone! He just tombstones his ass, I think outside of the ring.
No, it's inside.
It's inside. It
Yeah.
still doesn't matter because it's awesome as hell.
I can tell you liked this match.
Oh my god, it's so fucking cool at the end. It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
great
great finish.
exchange. Oh my god.
I do love that the just the internal morality of this is that the wood and the chairs are fair game, but Nutshot is like fucking
Too
dishonorable.
far. Too far.
It's like, did you try to like end this man and his bloodline? Yeah, but don't hit him in the balls.
Terrible. Terrible.
So this match you definitely recommend.
Oh my god, I recommend it. It's so good.
So
I yeah.
sort of, do you have anything else to say about this one?
The funny sleepy haircut at the end where
Yes.
Black Terry sells the
Oh,
tombstone
he sells the
crazy
fuck
style.
out of it. Yeah, and
Uh
they just sort of shave like the middle strip of his hair.
yeah, they give him a smacked ass haircut. Yeah, it's it's a good match. Definitely watch this match. Yeah. So
So do
that's
you want to pull back and talk about Black Terry in general?
yes. Uh Wildly inconsistent.
Mhm.
Uh when he's on, he creates one of the most awesome like deathmatch matches I've ever seen. Uh at his worst, he produces terrible, I'll say it.
Mhm.
Submission lucha crap that is slow and kind of boring.
Mhm.
Um and in between he creates Mr. Condor versus Black Terry, which is I don't even think I have the right credentials to review that match, honestly.
Well, that's cinema.
Yeah, it's art.
It feels like something that like Hideo Kojima would tweet about how cool it was.
No, for sure. And then he watches the Ultimo Guerrero match and he's like, I also watched Black Terry versus Ultimo Guerrero, period.
Mhm. I am not a gay, quote Hideo Kojima.
Thank you, Hideo Kojima. Very cool.
You've seen that one?
I have
That's
with the
glorious.
t-shirt.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's aside from the point. Yeah. Uh I guess we get to the portion of the show where where you ask me, "Hey, walk.
Hey, Walk,
Hi."
do you recommend Black Terry?
No. I recommend 2 matches and
Mhm.
maybe 3 on if you're curious.
Mhm. The
Um,
Condor, is that the Condor one?
yeah,
Well,
Condor
no,
is if you're
you
curious.
have to. It's 10 minutes,
It's
and
not that long.
regardless of the quality of it, you just have to witness the Zona 23 arena.
Yeah, I it's that's fair, I guess. It's not that long. But yeah.
Yeah, I think my own conclusion on Terry is that he's not an incredibly versatile wrestler.
No.
Um, and if you ask him to do something he's not built for, it will be bad. But if
But
you
damn
just
will he
put
try.
yeah, but if you give him the right thing to do, it's gonna be awesome.
Mhm.
It reminds me of did you watch Yuji Nagata versus Brian Danielson this year?
I don't think so.
Okay, it was on Dynamite, and everybody was watching it. They're like, "Oh man, Yuji Nagata still got it." Yuji Nagata does not still got it. But he's wrestling Bryan Danielson for one, and two, what he can still do, even though he's just like shaped like a Pop Tart
Mhm.
and can barely move, is that he can throw really fucking hard strikes. And so left to in the right scenario, he could still produce greatness. And I think that's what Black Terry is. If
Yep.
you put him in the right environment, he has a good mind for match structure, and
Mhm.
he has a really good offense. So if you don't force him to do something that he's just not built for, he'll do very good.
For sure.
He seems like a
Uh,
perfect mid-carder.
he is a great mid-carder. He is a guy that you wheel out occasionally, and
Mhm.
he'll put on a solid match in between your card
And stab somebody.
and stab somebody. Well, yeah, watch Black Terry versus El Hijo del Diablo.
If you
Watch
can find it
Wotan versus Black Terry. You can
on
find
YouTube
that. And watch Black Terry versus Mr. Condor.
and reassess your life.
And please never watch Ultimo Guerrero versus Black Terry.
I agree.
I care about my audience too much.
All 100 people who watched the first one,
I love every single one of them. And
I
I'm
don't.
oh, okay, I guess. Um,
Well, at least one of my audience is the guy who left the Stardom pro Stardom comment on my Kana primer, so
woo!
I'll
Oh,
take him out.
hell yeah. Okay. That's all. I think that's all I've got.
All right. Next time we'll be taking a trip across the old pond to view a certain British wrestler who shall remain unnamed. But
Mhm.
until then, this is Bati-Bati Book Club. So go watch some fucking Brain Damage.
Please.